weekend and say, hey, you know, going to be a good party on Friday night, got a bunch of people coming. We don't turn to them and say, hey, can you make it social? Right? That's not what we say, I hope. Yet that is what the briefs we get say. That is the types of conversations that we have in design meetings. And the second thing that I get asked a lot is, how do I make people share my stuff? Right? Sharing is this big deal. And again, sharing is a weird word. Like, sharing is a means to an end. You know, nobody turns to each other and says, like, what were you doing last night? And they turn and say, I was sharing. Right? Nobody says that. Yet that is the way we describe these things, and they're the kind of predominant things that we talk about. So this idea that social behavior is actually inherent in all of us and is so fundamental to humanity that this term is going to go away. Right? The social web will be the web. Social business will be business. Social experiences will be experiences. It's so fundamental to us that actually it's changing the structure of the web. So I've spent the last kind of 4 years in Silicon Valley working at Google, working at Facebook, talking to a lot of startups and a lot of new companies, and now I talk to a lot of people who are building on our platform. And you can see this shift. It's really, really huge. We're moving away from this world of this kind of beta period, I like to call it, for the web, which is content, right? We have this idea that people go online, you know, look at different types of content. It's all linked together. We have things like information architecture, trying to figure out how it works. And that's basically disappearing, or certainly will disappear in the next few years, and move towards something that looks much more like this, which is basically every time you're served data, whether that's in a phone, in an app, on a website, every single time, it'll be personalized. And it's already happening to a huge degree, and people don't even realize it. Right? Most people don't even realize it. Like, what you see in Google search results is different to what other people see. Obviously, your Facebook experience is completely different to other people because they have different friends, and they follow and like different things. So basically, every time you will bring with you your friends, your interests, and your friends' interests. And you'll decide whether or not you're going to share that data with whatever company you're interacting with. And that will totally change the experience. The big deal for us, I think, in this industry, in interaction design, is understanding that we are no longer designing destinations. Right? That is how we used to think about things. And that's not the way to think about them for the future. We're designing systems. We're designing things that aggregate content in real time. Right? Totally different kind of way of thinking about stuff. And this is basically how we think about Facebook. Like, if you talk to people who are designing Facebook and building Facebook, the last thing you'll hear is someone describe it as a website. It's not a website. It's a system, right? And it looks like this. And thankfully, I'm not expecting you to try and internalize this. This is basically, you don't need to worry about the details. This is basically what I whiteboard for a lot of people when I'm trying to describe what Facebook is to them. It's basically got all these different components, and I'll describe this in more detail later. All these different components, they're all interacting with each other. It's a system. When you do one thing over here,